Hi, how's everyone doing? As you all know, I am a certified peer support specialist. Certification is posted right here on YouTube if you'd like to take a look. I am very real, and so you don't think I'm some Yahoo on here. I am very real, and everything I do on here is out of love, compassion, and anyway. At this moment, I am going to talk about another point of communication, which is very critical, and it is something called comparing. Okay? Now, honestly, it's kind of hard to explain. I will give plenty of examples. When you're in conversation with someone, and you compare yourself to the other person's story, what you're doing is you're condescending them, you're demeaning them, rather than actually listening. And when you compare, it's like somebody basically is telling you from their heart and soul, they're telling you their story, what's going on in their life. And then when you compare, you're coming back with your own story. And that is very condescending to the person that is speaking. Yes, it is. Never ever compare your story to another human beings when they are speaking. I will give an example, and you might say, "Oh wow, yeah, I've dealt with that," or "All right, I'm going to give you an example of what comparing is in a conversation. Okay, there's so many, so many. When you compare, somebody speaking, they'll say, well, I had a bad day, I went through a terrible time with my friend or someone in my family, and then you come back and you say, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about. I had a worse day than you. You ever heard that before yourself? They'll say, oh yeah, you don't know what a bad day is. I had a worse day than you. Ever heard that before? You know what that makes the person feel like? You tell me. Okay? That's basically what comparing is. Very poor communication. Okay? When somebody talks to you, the idea, no matter what you've been through, we don't know what their side of the story is. No matter what we've been through, the idea is to be non-judgmental. No matter what we've been through, we listen to them no matter what. Okay? Because they have the right to speak. Okay? And we never compare our own situations to somebody else's. I hope you understand that. And it will make for better communication in this world. And basically, another example I'm trying to come up with one is when somebody says, it could be anything. I've had a traumatic experience or at work or a bad childhood, and then somebody else comes back, the listener comes back and says, you don't know what bad is. I had it a lot worse than you, believe me. You don't know what bad is. You don't even know what you're talking about. Ever dealt with that before and know what it feels like? That is a comparative conversation, and it is very, very poor. Okay? There's many, many examples. I've dealt with that too. Basically, what you're doing is you're not listening to the person. You're just telling them how you feel. You're overstepping their boundaries and just telling them what you feel, but you're not listening to them. I've done it. Where none of us are perfect. It's a learning curve. It is definitely a learning curve. A lot of times somebody's talking and then we feel something and automatically we jump in with our own feelings, which is no good. The proper thing to do is listen to what a person is saying. It takes time to learn. And then just relate with what you hear what the person's saying and then relate where they're coming from. As I've once called it on my own, I call it following the lead. Let them talk and relate, but don't compare your own story with theirs. Okay? Because we don't know what that person's been through. And it's horrible to say, oh, you have no idea. I had a bad day too. And it's so condescending. Does that make sense? Okay? All right. Well, I don't know you on the other end of this phone. I don't know you. I don't know what you've been through or what your story is. But if you come to me, no matter what I've been through or how hard it hits me, I am going to listen to you. Okay? What happens is sometimes people talk and it sets off what they call triggers in us. And automatically we overstep the person and start talking about our own feelings. And we just shut them down. And start, these people don't have it bad. They have no idea what I've been through. Mm-mm. You ever been through a situation like that? Well, it hurts the person and demeans their feelings. Never compare your own situation, story, and feelings with the other person's. Okay? Very, very critical. You listen. As hard as it may be, the conversation should always remain non-judgmental. Sometimes people say things because they need an outlet, a voice, somebody to speak to. And sometimes it does set a trigger off in us for our own feelings. But no matter what, that person has a voice and they have the right to speak. And we never come back and compare our own situation. I've done it. But through all my years of peer support work and just my own experiences, I learned how to pull myself back and be completely non-comparative and non-judgmental. Sometimes it's still hard, but we learn, okay? Somebody might say something to you tomorrow or today, whenever, and trigger something inside of us where we just want to jump over them with our own feelings or feel like, oh, this person's never been through anything. They don't know. I've been through worse than them. No matter what we've been through, they deserve a voice, and we listen. Okay? That is comparing, and it hurts. You might have been through it. Have you ever tried to talk to somebody? You tell me. And they came back at you with their own feelings and shut you down. That is comparing. Okay? Think about it. It's up to you. I know what I'm talking about. Let's make for better communication in this world for adults, for children. We see everything that's going on out there in this world, and a lot of it has to do with poor communication. okay? Especially developing children. They need an outlet, a voice, someone to listen, all right? Don't compare a situation with somebody else's because we're all different. Even if we've struggled, the other person has struggled too, and they have that right to that voice, and we have no right to compare what we've been through, no matter how bad it is. We've all struggled, but to compare ourselves to others in a conversation because it will hurt the person. It will demean them, take away from them as a human being. Okay. The right thing to do is empower them, listen to them, ask questions. I call coming from a place of curiosity too. Let them speak, ask questions, and just relate. But don't shut the person down with your own feelings. Okay? Hope that makes sense. If you like, just ask questions. Please be respectful. Okay? I would appreciate that. And thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful day. Okay. Be well.